I tried out Splitgate for the first time, and I gotta say, the game was way better than I thought it was initially gonna be. And so this video is just gonna go over my initial thoughts and impressions of it. I come from like a Halo background or an FPS background. I used to grow up playing Halo, Call of Duty, all those games when I was a kid. And I gotta say, I do kind of like miss those games nowadays. I know obviously Halo's still a thing, Call of Duty's still a thing, but it just didn't, or they don't really feel like how they used to, I guess. I guess I'm not as interested in them, but I still love the first person shooter feel. And so when I heard that like Splitgate was coming out and I had never really played it before, and I was like, you know what, like I'm gonna give this game a shot. I fell in love with it. So the gunplay feels really, really good. It's very easy to learn, like very quick to pick up. Feels like a traditional shooter. The tutorial that they give you at the beginning of the game when you first boot it up is pretty simple. Like after you go through the tutorial, you pretty much know exactly what to do. It's not like a MOBA where you have to spend hours learning, or not like a hero shooter where you have to learn like all these many different characters. They do have characters in this game. I'm playing the Arrows class right now, which is more of like a movement-based class. It's like kind of get in there, rush, speed boost, and sort of slay. But yeah, the tutorial was fantastic. The game is very, very easy to pick up, if anything. And the gunplay just felt absolutely amazing. But we'll go over classes in a second. After the tutorial, I kind of just started playing, and it felt like a traditional shooter to me. It felt very, very good. The time to kill feels almost perfect. And I know I'm like sitting here, and I know it kind of sounds like I'm just hard glazing the game, but I really do feel like the game felt amazing. Besides the old gunplay, the old like sort of shooter style that it feels like it has. It also has incorporated the new movement-based tech, right? So it has that like old shooter feel, but it has like it's combined with new movement, which I think is absolutely phenomenal. So it takes all the movement, say from like Apex Legends, where you have the nice sliding ability. You even have like a jetpack, so it's kind of like if you played Valkyrie in Apex, it's gonna feel like that a little bit. You have the jetpack, you can slide around. I don't believe that there's wall bouncing in this game yet. Maybe there is. I actually haven't really tried it out. But if there's not, maybe that's something that they can incorporate in the future as well to make the movement even more fluid. But yeah, it's like old shooter mechanics combined with like new movement mechanics. And I think that's where the game really, really shines so far. I played about like a solid 4 or 5 hours of it, and I was just having the best time of my life. Like it was just so fun. They also have many different modes. I believe they just came out with a battle royale mode. I'm not sure if that was available directly off launch or not, but they have battle royale mode. They have the traditional team deathmatch. They have a lot of objective based game types that kind of feel like Firecracker, I believe it's called. Kind of feels like Bomb from Halo a little bit. Except like you have an attacking team, you have a defending team, but the goal is to place on a firecracker and just defend it and have it explode, that kind of thing. So it feels kind of like Bomb from Halo, but it has like some kick to it. But yeah, they have a lot of different game modes. They have pretty much like a big team battle with like 3 separate teams. I believe it's like 6v6v6 or somewhere along those lines. The traditional mode is 4v4. So that's what I'm playing right here, and it's all of them just feel super nice. Even the battle royale mode feels nice. It does lag a little bit, especially when you get to the teleportation zones to go to like different parts of the map. I thought it was just me, but I was watching some streams of some other like big streamers play it, and I noticed that they were also lagging. So I think they have to tweak that a little bit to make that a little bit better, to make it more optimized. But overall, like there's a variety of modes. Gunplay movement mechanics feel amazing, and then you have the classes. And so you have, right now, you have 3 different classes. You have the Arrows class. You have I'm going to forget these names, honestly, while doing this, but the Arrows class is the one I'm playing. And then you have sort of like a recon class, like a scout class. Their ultimate ability pretty much allows you to reveal everybody within a certain radius on the map for you and your teammates. And then you have more of like a defender style class, which their ultimate ability grants a massive shield that you can play behind, that you can shoot through. And that the enemy like can't shoot through, essentially, right? So it's just in favor of you and your teammates. And so those are the 3 classes. Again, you have like your movement slaying class, you have your recon class, and you have your defending class. I've mostly played just the Arrows class just because I was having such a good time with it. I haven't really played the recon class at all yet, so I can't speak on that. And I played a little bit of the defender type class, and both feel great, the ones that I've played. And the other thing too is that the guns are a little bit different. So like it's not even just like the same guns. There's different weapons that you can use for those different classes. And on top of that as well, the guns all have attachments that you can unlock, right? So it's kind of like a traditional sort of like Call of Duty feel, or whatever the case, classic FPS feel, where you're just unlocking different attachments. For example, the gun I'm using, the first unlock is extended mag, and then you can also get laser sight for it to increase accuracy, right? Hip fire accuracy. You can get extended barrel for it. You can get the increased fire rate, which I believe I'm using this game for the first time. So you can get a lot of different attachments. There's a lot of different like customizing options for each of the guns. I feel like a lot to a certain extent, right? So they're not going to go overboard with it, at least not yet. But there's like a decent amount. And I feel like the gunplay itself was just, I mean, I've already spoken on this, but like each gun that I picked up felt really, really good. There wasn't a single gun, even the pistol felt really good. There wasn't a single gun that I felt bad by any means, but every single weapon felt really, really nice. The only thing I didn't like was when weapons drop on the floor. For some reason, it kind of felt really, really weird to pick them up. So it's just like traditional press X to pick them up. But I felt like I was missing my pickup a lot. Maybe that's just a skill issue. But like, it was weird. Like, it felt like I couldn't hold X across the weapon to pick it up, and I had to like stare directly at it for a second and then press X to pick it up. So it just, like I said, it just felt weird. It just felt like it wasn't fluid like everything else in the game is. So hopefully they kind of fix that. Like I said, maybe that is a skill issue. Who knows? But hopefully they do fix that, because it didn't feel that good. But everything else feels great. The maps too, the map designs. I really, really enjoy the map designs. At least the ones that I've played so far, which I think is probably most of them. Like I said, I did a solid 5-hour session, 4 or 5 hour session of this game, and I played like a lot of the different game modes, not just one, but a lot of different ones. So I played a lot of different maps, and each map felt really nice. I feel like I kind of also felt some aspects from like Halo in the map design a little bit. Not like completely, but just like a little bit with some of these maps. And yeah, no, it like the design's cool. I think I'm not a fan of the whole like arena style thing, like people sitting in the crowd cheering you on and how it feels like a game. I never really enjoyed that from the finals, because I know that was the thing in the finals. To me, that just kind of feels a little bit goofy. I'd rather just be like, we're just straight up fighting and that's it. No like cheering on in the background, all that kind of goofy stuff. But it doesn't affect the gameplay at all. So it is what it is, just kind of there in the background as like a spectator. But yeah, overall the map design feels great so far. I didn't really have any complaints about it. And I guess this leads me to like one of the biggest things, which is portaling in this game. So, earlier we were talking about movement, how like the base movement mechanics feel, fantastic. But of course, like portaling is the big thing that this game is going to be based off of, right? Like no other game is really doing this. And so portaling allows you to essentially, you can create 2 portals like this. I actually screwed up here because I didn't have another portal down. But you can only shoot portals on these designated areas. I never played the original beta or the alpha or whatever it was, but apparently you could portal through anything from what I was told, which sounds like it would be quite a headache to deal with, especially balance if you're trying to make this game competitive, which I do think this game has a massive, like, you can definitely make this game competitive. And I hope it has like a big esports scene, because I think it will be very, very fun to watch. But not to get sidetracked. Yeah, so these designated like sort of gel-like areas that kind of look like they're shields, you can place portals on. And of course, like, you place one portal down, then you can place another portal down, and you can walk through, you can look through, and you can like shoot through it. And when you first start off this game, you're going to play against a lot of players that don't know how to use the portals at all. Seriously, like not at all. Not even just like put them down. Like no one's using portals. That's what I know. So it's kind of like, it helps like ease yourself into the game. But then as you like progress, you'll start noticing the portal mechanic come in. As you start playing against better players, you'll start noticing that they're using the portals, and it's like, okay, like it's kind of like building in Fortnite, right? Like this is like where the real skill comes from, in my opinion. I mean, every part about this game has skill, but like portaling is like really big skill, because when you're portaling, you can do a lot of different things, right? Like not only are you, taking angles that you otherwise wouldn't be able to, not only are you pre-placing like a portal exit for yourself so you can get out when you otherwise wouldn't be able to, but you're also able to deny enemy portals, from my understanding. So like you can place a portal on top of their portal, and it kind of like neutrals out and like cancels out the portal. So there's like a lot of crazy mechanics that you can do with the portal play alone. Like, despite all the gunplay and all the mobility that there is, there's a lot of like crazy mechanics you can do with the portal play. And so at a high level, because I love competing, I love playing games at a high level, I can definitely see like the portaling mechanic being like the biggest thing. And I think that's like the scheme's bread and butter. So as long as they sort of keep progressing the portaling system, make maybe like I think right now it's already really good, but maybe they can make it better in the future, like add on to it. And they don't make it too overpowered. I think like this is going to be in a really, really good spot. Overall, the game, I think right now doesn't have like the playership is decent. So I was looking at Steam charts the other day, and on Steam charts alone, there's about 8,000 to 10,000 concurrent players. So like the player base is there, but it's nothing like Marvel Rivals, for example, which has over 100,000 players consistently, or like Apex or any of these other games, at least not yet. But maybe it'll grow, and or maybe it'll just be like a small community base. Who knows? But from my experience, I've played games like I played Smite for a while. I played a lot of games that have smaller player bases and have been able to live off smaller player bases for a very long period of time. In some cases, it can actually be better for the game because it's like a smaller community. But of course, any game you play, you want it to have probably as big of a player base as possible. It makes the rank system better, and all that kind of stuff. And speaking of rank system, I hope they add one soon, because like I said before, this game would be really, really fun to play at a competitive level. I love playing casuals, like just to start off when I'm first playing the game, but I always love to progress to a ranking system. And I just absolutely hope that they bring in a good one, a good progression system that you can easily sort of like grind your way up. And like I said, I hope there's also an esports that's incorporated with it at some point as well. I think that's the real thing that drives games, especially games like this, but that drives like really almost any online multiplayer game, is having a nice dedicated esports system to where players can sort of like aspire to be a professional player, and they can kind of grind and play for it. And that's really where a lot of players are playing for, right? That's what a lot of players like want to play for, especially ones that are playing this game all the time. But yeah, so like those are my main initial thoughts of the game. It's just really good. I had a really, really fun time, and at the end of the day, right, that's what it's all about. It's all about having fun in a video game. If you're enjoying it, if you're having a good time, I think the devs did their job right. And in this case, it definitely feels like that. It's a new take on a first-person shooter while still kind of keeping the FPS like mechanics and the mobility. It's taking the two aspects of FPS that I love, right? Gunplay and mobility. I can never get into a game like Valorant just because it feels to me like there isn't as much mobility. Now, I know some people might argue with me about that, but a lot of like the core base of the game is like you kind of stand still to get perfect accuracy to shoot somebody, and to me like that was never really that fun. I tried out Valorant a few times, but like this game really feels like an FPS to me, and that's why I love Apex right now so much, because I do think Apex is probably the best shooter like right now, but I think this game can actually definitely rival it. Absolutely, with the amount of guns it has, the customization, the gameplay, and of course, as the game progresses, we're just going to get even more classes as well. And the classes aren't going to be too crazy. I think that's another thing about games nowadays, is like it just feels like the classes are a little bit too crazy. It feels like there's like too much going on here and there. And right now, it's just like kind of like basic kits. You have your basic abilities, and also too like your passive is usually benefiting the team. Which is really, really nice. As it says here, like we have ability cooldowns for me and my allies, which is insane. So yeah, I think overall, like the game has a great start. It has a great launch so far in terms of like the actual gameplay. I haven't felt any bugs inside of it. It runs very smooth, especially even on like older systems. Like my system is probably a solid 5 years old at this point, 4 or 5 years old, and I do want to upgrade at some point. I've been having a little bit of trouble running some UE5 games, but this game has ran perfectly fine, and I'm playing on like medium graphics right now as well. So yeah, overall, it's great. I think if any first-person shooter is gonna like pop off down the line, I think it would actually be this game. But I do also think that like the times have sort of changed. Sadly for these kinds of games, like there obviously is still a dedicated fan base for it. It's just not as big as like a lot of other games, like some MOBAs, for example, like Dota or League of Legends, or more tactical-based shooters like Valorant and all those kinds of shooters. Those shooters have like absurdly massive fan bases. Apex as well. I think Apex though has been losing players recently, although I don't know if it's because the Apex meta has been like not the best, or if people are just like migrating to other games. But maybe this is one of the games that people migrate to. Who knows? If they if they kind of take some of Apex's player base, then they could actually get quite a bit of players. But yeah, it's just like it's like an older style feel game, with new style graphics and mechanics and all that kind of stuff. But like the base gameplay is a little bit older style, and obviously that's what they're going for. They want like the traditional FPS take and all that kind of stuff, as they said. So yeah, I just hope that it gets the player base, and I'm definitely going to keep playing this as long as I'm having a great time with it, which doesn't seem to be going out anytime soon, because like I said, the game is just straight up fun. I mean, you just hop on this game, it's like, wow, I'm just having a blast. Even if you only play for like an hour or two, you're just having a great time. The game lengths are probably like anywhere usually from like 10 to 20 minutes long. What was this game, like around 18 or so? So, I think they're like usually 10 to 20 minutes long, which is, pretty good time to stay in a game. And this is because this game's kind of like at its max right now. But maybe it's a little bit longer than 10 minutes. Who knows? I wasn't really timing it. But that's kind of what it felt like, 10 to 20 minutes in that range. So I think it's a good time for a game and all that kind of jazz. There's also a invite button, which is, in my opinion, a very dangerous button. It invites everybody from your friends list. I don't think I've ever seen that on a game before at all. But it invites every single person on your friends list, and your friends list can have a lot of people. So you can list, or you can link your Discord account. It links your Xbox account. It has like a lot of linkage to different accounts. So like you can easily invite people from like any platform essentially. Like from Discord directly or whatever the case. And yeah, there is a universal invite all button, which is kind of insane. So it's a little dangerous. I tested it out like once, but I didn't have that many people online, thankfully. But yeah, it's a little dangerous, so you just be careful with that. Overall, though, great game, great mechanics, great gunplay. Great release so far. Maybe just like one or two things I didn't like about it, as I mentioned earlier. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed sort of like my initial thoughts. I know the game's coming to a close, but hope you guys sort of enjoyed my initial thoughts on this, and I hope it sort of like helps you out, especially if you're on the edge, if you're borderline, like, hey, do I want to play this game or not? At the end of the day, it is a free game, so, I think that's more than enough reason to, at the very least, try it out, because if you don't like it, then you don't like it, and you just uninstall, right? Also, too, I don't think it takes up too much space. I think it's like a couple tens of gigabytes, or something like that, so... But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed. Oh yeah, the last thing too is the tacticals. I didn't really talk about the tacticals at all. So you have your ults, you have your portals, and then you have your LBs, which I just call tacticals. And those are like different equipment. So that's usually like where you have like nades in that spot. In my case, I put a stim here. I was able to unlock it down the line. As you play the classes, you gain like proficiency with the classes, you gain XP with the classes, and you can like unlock more tacticals and whatnot down the line, as well as like unlocking weapons and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, there's a lot of like, not really customization compared to other games, but like there's a lot of reasons to play a class for a long time. You get a lot of XP to that class. You can unlock tacticals, weapon attachments, all that kind of stuff, and more things for the class, more weapons for the class. So I hope you all enjoyed this video, enjoyed my initial thoughts, and I hope it helps you out. See you in the next one. Peace out.